Okay, hello. Welcome again. This is Vincent right here. So today we're playing Deltarune again, like all the time. And this video will be a request, basically made by one of my nice friends, Burr. He was mad at me. I didn't shout him out on the last video, so we're making this video because of him, and it's a weird one. Yeah, it's about the religion in Deltarune, which is a very good chapter to talk about. We'll go over the prophecy, such things as are like comparisons to real life religion and things I don't agree with of how this is taken, and a lot of other stuff. Let's start from here. There's more messages on the back, but they're just normal stuff. We shall know that. So, a world bashed in purest light beneath grew eternal night. So this is a direct comparison. I think we can all agree between heaven and hell. We have good and bad, which standard for 90% of religions. Of course, 90% of the Christianity base are gonna think about that. Okay, we're gonna fight this dude. So why are they Chinese though? I don't know, dude. I just didn't think it would be Chinese. Okay, let's forget that I butchered that so bad. That never happened. So, yeah, we have the comparison between a lot of the religions on here, right? We can act. Yeah, shut the fuck up, Ralsei. So, if fountains freed the roaring cries and titans shape from dark denies. What are titans? Why do they appear? Are they part of the roaring itself? Because the roaring is the fucking rapture in Christianity. We all have to face it. It is exactly that. It is the rapture. Everything goes, you know, but it's kind of weird because in a way, in Deltarune, you're trying to bash that, like for a rapture not to happen. And it is mentioned during one part that by Albin. I don't know if it's scrap dialogue or wherever it is. It's mentioned that sin isn't a part of this religion itself. It's mentioned that Ashriel will come in and apologize profoundly, and he will confess, which I think it's actually more Catholic, but he will come over and confess sins, like throwing Joshi, because the comparison is like just mashed potatoes, right? So he's like crying, he goes to church, and he's like, I'm so sorry, I sinned. And sin, and he mentions that that's not a thing in their religion. In their religion, he especially says our. So, what about our, not the religion? That will mean there's different religions. So, it's Christianity an actual thing in Deltarune? Is a prophecy like an only monster? Or more of a more primal belief, right? Like Mayans will have their thing, humans have their thing, everybody is. Because another thing we can speak about is how souls itself. Um, if you were to think of a God, you would think God will give every single one an equal soul, right? An equal word. That is a lot about religion itself. And in Deltarune and in Undertale, we're pretty clearly told that human souls are way stronger, more determined. They have their determination on them, unlike monster souls. And it gets to the degree that the strength of a human child it's enough to bash the strongest monster soul of somebody that's been alive for years and years. If they get enough strength, a human soul can overcome everything. So we have the light and dark, both burning dire and countdown to the hair's expire. That is the fucking rapture again. This the one part that pisses me off. I don't know if I spoke about this on the last video. The pointy headed will say toothpaste and then boy. So if this is actual part of like their fucking religion, like why? Why? Do you think there's just like a period on the Bible where like so there was like this little kid which he was very funny. I mean maybe yeah there's like anecdotes in the Bible. They'll try to joke. Don't quote me on it. I shouldn't be really speaking on regards of religion. I am not the most knowledgeable person. I'll probably ask my friend Monkey. Yeah, that's his name. I'm not calling him names. So I'll ask him. He probably knows more about on regards to that. If there's like silly parts in the Bible, but I just think that it doesn't fit all around. Also, the Jokindong grows a beard. So I don't know if they're establishing that not only we have two different prophecies, or one prophecy is more detailed than one of them, and one is heavily fucking different. We don't know because all we have is from the Book of M's on what they sing at the start of this chapter that we'll batch the angels heaven, yada yada yada. Why is that a bad thing? Why is like an angel doing something? Unless it's a fallen angel, they refer to it as one. But at the same time, it could be like Michael, they talked about the angels on the rapture itself. It could be something like that. Again, when we see anything that's generated by the darkness, we see a titan. The titan has wings. So what? Are we see an angel? Something like that. That's like a religious thing. Plus, there's actual angels in this game. We know that angels come from somewhere, and we have to say angels are a Christian thing, right? We can all agree on that. I will think we can all agree that angels are a heavily Christian thing. So not only the existence of angels in this religion like makes you believe right away, you know, like you look at it and you're like this is based on Christianity. A dumbed down version of it, because Toby Fox was like, how can I get away with everything I want and not like bother people? He's like, oh, you know what? I'll make it like Christianity, but I'll forget like half the important shit about Christianity. Because he mentions there's no sin. I don't know if it's a scrap dialogue again from Albin, or at least that he is saying that because of like the sin that Astral is committing, it's only in like a video game. Which again, it's a crazy thoughtful thing when you think about it, because we are playing a video game right now. So if you think about it, it doesn't matter that you're not committing a sin. It's pixels on the screen, son. And I think that's a nice comparison, but at the same time, if what Albin is saying, which by the way, we have the old man, which I will say something about him. If like Deltarune has like an equivalent of religions, this guy doesn't like the prophecy. So he doesn't like the rapture or believes that it's not right so what does that sound to you guys like? Lutheranism, which is a little part of what I wanted to speak about. I'm not very knowledgeable of it. Bear wanted kind of to do a video in regards of this, so I'm doing this video because basically he asked me to. So P watched the last video through hourly, so I have to thank him. Thank you, brother, for watching the video. It's gonna feel to everyone else watching. It's gonna be like, who the fuck is that guy? Well, why is he getting a shout out? Why? I don't know, dude. Yeah, speed it up. Anybody on the comments that's not one of my two friends, Big Guy or Bear, if you're not one of those two, you're free to say anything on not the chat. Well, I guess it's the chat, the comments. Yeah, the comments. You're free to say whatever you want. Maybe I'll make a video even about it. I guess that's how you get people, and I just like rambling on about stuff. And I have a good amount of knowledge about this game, do it. By the way, very nice significance. You see how everybody here, these are alive people. Except Ralsei, he's a dark nerd, doesn't count. Jerson is fucking dead. He doesn't display any light. Yeah, get out. I'm killing everybody anyway. So first one's gone. Again, I feel this chapter could have been like deeply more. I was just say religious, but a lot of parts of it are kinda religious. But I just saying there's a lot of missed opportunities. We have the reference of Lord Hamlet, which is of course is Lord of the Rings, and Jerson mentions that Lord of Hamlet is just heavily based on the prophecy. And you know, what is the Lord of the Rings based on? Christianity. Yeah, it is. Just that's how it is. First of all, let's ignore this little scene here where we have Ralsei being a step stool again. That joke's starting to get fucking old, Toby Fox. I don't like it. Just like, oh yeah, step on me, look, bro. Fuck you, Toby Fox. That is not funny. You got me here, dude. I don't like him. Show mercy. That's a wild sentence to say. Because mercy in the other games, like, are you gonna show Ralsei mercy? That message is gonna come back one day, and it's not gonna be good. But low in hopes and dreams, they send three heroes at the world's end. Who the fuck is in the heroes? Because nobody, at least now, is asking for them. At least in this one, it kinda really looks like Chris, Susie, and Ralsei. It doesn't look like Noelle. But when we hear about the girl and we see the one with the sword, that's it. That's Noelle. He breaks that one part of the prophecy, which is kind of weird. So that's what I'm saying. He's Lutheran. He doesn't like certain part of their religion, so he's like, no, I'm ditching it. You broke it on purpose. I mean, why do you suppose I will do that? Don't like prophecies. Well, now a fairy tale is a pretty little thing. Ain't it nice to believe a glimmer here and there? I just think those words shine a bit too bright. A path so blue it's all you can see. So I say, why don't we go between the lines? It's darker there. So basically, he's being like, I don't like such a narrow path. I don't like it just being the rule is this way and this way. So maybe it's not Lutheranism, it's just some kind of weird Methodicism when they just I don't like the rules, I'm gonna fucking bend them. Which is not really that cool, honestly. He just goes there, we go the other exact opposite way. We look up here too. Alright, so we're gonna keep rambling on about comparisons about two religions. So we have the structure of the church in Deltarune 2 points towards the sky, which is an architectural procedure, or at least tendency, that we had with churches, that is going as high as they can to be as close to heaven. I don't know if it's exactly that, but I think it's something similar, which we all can agree on, right? We all can say I'm not bluffing right now. So he goes there, we're gonna follow him. Then we're gonna have some dialogue. I don't remember if this changes during Snowbird. I know one part does. Oh, you went this way, huh? I've got a mighty hunch this ain't the right way. So I do like going the wrong way. You get better ideas that way. Now, what you want? You think we're doing wrong? Oh, never wrong answer. No. No, we're horseshoes now. Got a peculiar ring to them. Fuck you, Tony. this is on regards of a fucking torn ring. Which, okay, that's a huge part too. The torn ring. What is a torn ring? Oh, it's this, the character this uses unlocks like a major fucking spell on the evil route. So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. It seems like the actual prophecy, the one written by the Lightners, the monster, the humans, whatever wrote that, the prophecy states some. It's with Noel, I would think, at least. One of the prophecies involves Noel and not Susie. Jairus was very like, oh, Susie, you remind not of the girl on Lord of Hammer, whatever. You remind me of the dragon, and they say something about the dragon, like just changing the history of the game itself, right? So we have the dragon, which is Susie. We have the girl, which is the monster girl of the prophecy, which is have to be Noelle. Ralsei is still the Darkner, the Prince of the Dark, and obviously Chris is the Knight. Not not the Roaring Knight, one of the knights, the Knight of the Prophecy, the human one. So with everything else, the prophecy I was talking about, and the comparisons to Christianity and everything else that I'm doing right here, the Torn Ring for me, it's the one thing, dude. Yeah, you're not gonna reference Christianity. This is not Christianity, dude. But we have the fucking equivalent of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ to save over humanity from the rapture, which is kind of weird that we have a comparison to Jesus Christ to save us from the rapture when Jesus Christ is supposed to save our souls from our sin, right? Which kind of makes a lot of sense. If sin is not a real thing under religion, this will be the cataclysm that, okay, sin is a real thing. You all been saying, so that's why the rapture is happening. And that's where we have to stop and we have to make a sacrifice to show you all what happens when you sin or whatever it is. Like a pure soul, like just going away, like Jesus Christ on the cross, just because of the soul of the sins of everyone else. Maybe it could be that way, but at the same time, the weird route, it's the use that it has, it's completely intended to be evil. If you want it to fulfill like a good prophecy, right? Which, or to at least stop it, which is seems to be what the pacifist route will try to do. Just stop the roaring, stop like everything like that. Because Susie is like, I don't want the prophecy to happen because something bad happens to the girl and she thinks she's the girl. And I think a good cataclysm of the history could be involved that she's not the girl of the prophecy. It's gonna be like, what is my purpose? Because I do feel that Susie finds purpose within the prophecy itself. The other two, Ralsei, yeah, he has two purposes: the fucking prophecy and Lightners, which is basically the same thing. He's doing it for Lightners. Just kind of weird that a Darkner will be so deeply involved into that. Like, you know every single thing about the prophecy. Apparently, everybody knows the prophecy, or at some degree they know. But Rossi knows every single detail, and he refuses to tell us things yet. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so afraid." But since the start, you didn't tell us that. Okay, this is a suicide mission, which you'll probably have to. Well, you will scare the shit out of us. It's very kind of well explained why Rousey wouldn't have told you that at the start of the game. But still, he didn't tell you all throughout the thing. We still don't know what the end of the prophecy is, which, by the way, you could have told us. Rousey could also have told us if he's a Darkner, what the fuck is he? Ram can tell us he's a power strip. Um, and he tells her, "Oh, the queen is this, Lancer is this." She knows. Well, he knows what all of these things are. He knows what he's never, but yet he's never been in the light world. So do they just know what they are? Is it just like that to them? They know exactly what the real world is like. Which again, we'll have to speak on regards of another thing that is mentioned that um Chris and Noel and Astral. Well, it's not Noel, but we know it's one of the two holiday girls. Most likely, I'm saying because of the age, and I could not see this doing all of that. She was hitting Chris with a wiffle bat at that point on her life, so they want to be playing pretend. Even his head hurts. Like that girl actually beat the shit out of Chris. To think about it. So yeah, there's just I've been thinking about a lot about that part. It's just why this is denied. I spoke about it on the last video, my thoughts on it. But now that I think about it, that Noel is part of the prophecy, and Noel goes through so much stuff. Noel is like, let's say she's truly innocent, at least to this religion. She doesn't do anything wrong. Noel is like a very submissive person. Pardon me the word, but she really is. Like I think we were heavily described at least that Noel can only say like no to two people, which being Rudy and Chris. And on the wheel route, she's only has her dad basically because we're doing the opposite on that route. Which again, in that route, seems like we're completing the true for real sees the prophecy with Noel on it because Noel has to be on the prophecy. There is no shot she's unimportant to the prophecy when that girl is so involved in the dark worlds. Because the chapter 2 Dark World happens because of Noel. Don't you think it's so curious that that Dark World started that way? Because one of the Dark Worlds was started when Chris and Susie entered that place. Because of the the Dark World started on that room. They made it while they were inside. Everything started failing. That seems to be a tendency about Dark Worlds. When they're just created and they get in, you start falling down. It's like you're in the save room, right? You're going down somehow, which makes me think like you go down, you're going to hell, bro. But I mean, let's not say this is hell, right? Darkness are in demons. I'm not gonna go all the way into that. I don't think that's Will you believe me if I told you like, dude, that guy? Well, that is very weird. That it makes a that personal life, at least on this plane of existence. So, so boss monsters, when they die, they turn into dust. So dust, or dead bodies, at least souls, whatever it is, at least in regards of humans, because at least we can see that human souls like remain there when they're dead, as Asgore just collects those. Still, we don't know if these same rules apply on this world. It could be heavily different, just on how it is. Because again, another thing, boss monsters and their age, right? Does that apply? Does that mean that Toriel and Asgore are like hundreds of years old at this point? No, 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 no. I'm bluffing right now because they are hundreds of years old in Deltarune. No, in Undertale, because I think it's something tied to their kids. Like if they die, they cannot get older. So since Astral died, Toriel and Asgore are just there. They cannot get old for shit, which is it's crazy that they work like that. I just think it's crazy. And boss monsters are the royalty of monsters itself. They're described as the strongest monsters ever. or out of the monsters. Out of all of them, a boss monster will be the strongest. That's why Asgore was the king of monsters and why he was for the longest time. Another thing about religion, there was like a theory about Rousey being a demon, was it? Or something similar like that? I'm not kidding, by the way. I have a memory about hearing something like that. I'll really be bluffing on about this. So I think I really spoke enough about their religion in Deltarune. There's a lot of other shit I could talk about, but I think we have enough. Um, enough. I have enough stuffs on my head on about, and I think it can clarify a little bit more of apparently how this religion works and the fact that it's kind of like very it's based on Christianity, but it omits so much parts that'll make Christianity important, such as the mention of not having sin. And when you think about it, I mentioned on the other video, Caddy and Chris invoking a demon, which you know what that means, evil and bad. Yeah, so if there's angels and demons in culture, that has to come from somewhere. So what I'm saying is, what if this town, the hometown, they're just crazy lunatics. There are no humans in town. You will think that humans is the most powerful, the individuals with the most powerful souls, and that shows determination keeps. I don't know if it's our soul that we're using or his soul's powers. It just keeps him alive after dying. He has the option to save. I don't know if that's a Gaster thing, a Flowey thing, or coming out of the determination of being a human being. But that opens a lot of windows. Why is this town so full of monsters and there's one human and he had to be adopted? There's not a human family. There are humans books though. And yeah, there are humans books. There's a picture with a book about the history of humans. Your mom has one signed by Jerson and everything. So humans are a big thing. Monsters are too. But in this town, if you looked at it, like you'll be like, are humans just like weird? Did humans not appear before monsters or anything? Are like humans a minority, whatever it is? Do humans have a different religion? Do humans actually believe like some kind of version of Christianity aside from whatever the monsters believe in the roaring and everything else? It's a lot of interesting stuff, but Toby Fox has only let you see another human. Don't 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 quote me on it. You have Frisk, then you have Chara, but Chara's fucking dead. So that's a demon. Chara's a fucking demon. Chris, you have the pictures of the human, but I don't think we're gonna see another human on the entirety of Deltarune. And if we do, that's gonna be insane. But anyway, that's all I wanted to speak about. Shout out again to Bear and to Big Guy so he doesn't get mad at me. Uh, also to Thomas. I don't know if he's gonna watch the video. The guy's a little autistic, so you know. Um, so thanks everybody for watching. I don't know how long I have been recording and rambling on about this. I'll upload this as soon as I can. So thanks everybody, and bye.